Hey, what's up guys? Adrika Badari from Extra Coding YouTube channel is back again. So friends, in today's video we're gonna learn list comprehension. So, list comprehension is used to make a list easily. So, if I have a list, so L is equals to an empty list, and then if I want the cubes of number from 1 to 10 to be there in this list, so I can write it something like this. For I in range 1 to 11, and then I'll write L dot append I, and then here 3. Okay, now let's run our program. See, the cubes of number 1 to 10 are there, right? Now if I do this using list comprehension, I will be able to do this 4 lines of code in just a single line. Let me show it to you how. Suppose if I have a list X, so X is equals to, here I'll write I, and then for I in range 1 to 11, and here I will write 3. Okay, so now here first it will see that we are multiplying I by 3, and what is I? It is the range between 1 to 10. Okay, so this for loop will work same as this for loop, like we have written here, right? So first, when the loop will work, the value of I will be 1. Okay, and then that 1 will be cubed, and then that number will be appended to X, that is our list. Okay, so first the value of I will be 1, so 1 cube, and then the cube of 1 is 1, so 1 will be appended to X. Then again the for loop will work, and the value of I will be 2, so 2's cube is 8, so 8 will get appended to X. So now if I print my list, see, it's working the same way, right? So this was list comprehension. Now let me show one more example to you. Let's comment this one out. Okay, now if I have a list, here I have some names. Let it be fruits name. Okay, so mango, okay, so here are 3 fruits name in my list, and now in my N1 list I want the starting character of all the 3 data to be there, so it should be M, A and G. So here I will make an empty list, and then I'll use for loop. So for I in N, now I write N1 dot append I, here I'll write 0. Okay, so what will happen here? Each data will be stored in I one by one, and then that data's first character, as you can see I have given the indexing 0, so the first character will get appended to the n1. Okay, and now at the end I'll print my n1 dictionary. See, it's working properly. But now if I do this using list comprehension, it will be more easier. So here let's make another list, n2 is equals to, inside square brackets we'll write I 0. Okay, so it means the value of I indexing 1 will get appended to n2. But now what is this I? So here we will write for I in n. Okay, okay, wait a second, I have to print it. Print n2. Yeah, here's it. M, A and G. So as you can see, both are working the same way. So this was list comprehension. So basically in list comprehension, firstly you have to give the data that you have to append. As you can see here, we have given that we want to append the first character of I here, right? We want to append first character of I in our list n2, and then you have to give the for loop, that how will the loop will work. Here also as you can see that first we have given that we want to append the cube of the number in x, and after that I have given the for loop, right? So this was list comprehension, but only with loop. And now we're gonna learn list comprehension with if else. Okay, so let me just comment this out. So now if I have a list ranging from 1 to 10, so I'm just gonna make a list like this, 1 to 11, right? We can also make a list like this. Hope you remember. So now if I have a variable even, and then inside this will be nothing. Okay, it will be empty. Now if I want numbers which are even in the range of 1 to 10 should be there, so here I will use for loop for I in L. Now I'll use condition if I mod 2 is equals to 0, so I L even dot append I. Okay, and else so here I can just continue, or I think there's no need of else, you can just remove it. So now if I print my even. Okay, so see, 2 4 6 8 10, right? But now again, if I do this using list comprehension, it will be more easier. So here we can write L, or let's make even 1 is equals to. So first we will give the value that we want to append in even. So we want to append I. Okay, and then we will give for loop. So for I in L, and after the for loop we will give the condition. So here we will write if I more 2 is equals to 0. Okay, so we will append I to our list even 1. Okay, and what is this I? This is the I in for loop. So for I in L. Okay, it will work the same way as this for loop. Okay, and this I will only get appended to it if I mod 2 is 0. If the remainder when we are dividing it by 2 is 0, means it is an even number. Only if it is an even number. So now if I run even 1, so just see, it's working the same way, right? Okay, so hope it's clear. So this was list comprehension with if. Now let's see how will we work with list comprehension with if else. Okay, so let's just comment this out, and let's just copy this list only. Okay, so now in my next list I want the even numbers to get appended. Okay, and in place of odd numbers I want there to be an O, so that we can understand that there's a O, there's an odd number, right? So if I have a list X, so it should be something like this. So first O, okay, like this, and then there should be 2, and then again O, and then 4, like this, so that we can understand that there's an odd number at the place of O. So for this we will write for I in L, if I mod 2 is equals to 0, so print I. Sorry, we have to append it now. So here we will write L dot append. Okay, and then else here we will write L dot append O. Okay, so it should be O. So now after this let's print our X. So here uh, okay, so here I think, yeah, it should be X, right? So now see, in the place of 1 3 5 7 and 9 there is an O. Okay, and the even numbers are there in the list, as you can see here. So if I try to do it using list comprehension, so how can I do that? So suppose I have x1 is equals to this. So first, what I have to insert in it, what I have to append in it is I. Okay. Re- Remember one thing, guys, that if you are using only if, then you have to use it like this. Means first for loop and then if. But if you are using if else, then you have to use first if else and then for loop. Okay. So here first we will use if I more 2 is equals to 0. Right? So here you have to do it like something like this. And then you have to put else. Else, what you want to append is O. Okay. Now we will use for loop. For I in L. Okay. And here the bracket should not be here, it should be here. It should be something like this. Okay. So now if I print my x1, see, it's working the same way, right? So that's what you need to remember, that if you are working with only if, then if statement will be after for loop. But if you are working with if else, so the if else statement will be before for loop and for loop will be after that. So here first we are telling that what we have to append in x1, and this will get appended only if this condition is true, only if condition is true. Okay. So if I mod 2 is equals to 0, if I on dividing by 2 leaves the remainder 0, then only it will get appended to x1, or else instead of I, O will get appended to x1. Okay. And here for I in L, what is I here? That is the data in L. So as the for loop will work on L, the value of I get changed. Okay. Okay. So now let's move to nested for loop using list comprehension. So if I have a list A, and in that I have another list in which we have 1 2 3, then again 4 5 6 5 6, and then again 7 8 9. Okay. Now I have another list B, and in this list if I want to be like this: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay. So although we can make this list just writing it like this and giving it a range of 1 to 10 here, but if I want these numbers to be taken from this list A, so how can I do that? So here we will write for I in A, right? And then for J in I. Okay. Then we will print. Sorry, here we will write b dot append, and what we will append is J. And then at the end we will print B. Okay. So if I run my program, see, it is working properly. We have to get the output like this. So let's get the output using list comprehension. Okay. So just comment this out. Okay. So here what we have to do is we have to write b1 is equals to this list. Now what we want to append? You want to append I. Okay. Now we will write for j in A, and then we will write for I in J, and let's print it B1. Okay. So as you can see, it is working the same way, right? So here in for loop, let me just change these variables so that it is more clear to you. And here let's write I in J. Okay. Now here, as you can see, this for loop is this one, and this for loop is this one, right? So when you are using nested for loop in list comprehension, you need to remember that the for loop that you will use first will come first, and then the for loop which you will use afterwards will come afterwards. As you can see here, first there's for j in A, and then there's for I in J, right? So in this for loop, it is looping on these lists, right? They are different elements, and this for loop is looping on the data inside this list, right? And then after this inside this list, and after that inside this list, and it is appending each and every value to it. So here it should be I. Okay. Now here also it is working the same way. This for loop is looping on these three elements, these three lists, as you can see here, and this for loop is looping on the elements inside these lists. Okay, and at the end it will append the I. Okay, means it will append these numbers. So let me run it once again. See, it is working same way, right? So right, that was list comprehension. Hope you got to understand everything. But still, if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section. So see you soon in my next video, guys. Thank you for being with me till the end.